Hello, Mount Runmore here, aka Nick. I am back to talk about BB26. Hold on, let me move this in a little closer. There we go. But yes, I'm back to talk BB26. I did my last stream on Saturday night, and before I even get into this one, I want to point out that my last stream got cut off right at the end. So, um, luckily, there was only one thing I talked about that didn't get covered. In that stream, what got cut out was me mentioning that Kenney and Leah seem to be coming together a little to try and run the show, and seeing them together, it kind of reminded me of Terrence and Alyssa from BB24. Like, here's two people that just would not be aligned with each other, but they had just enough mutual associates that went out the door, in this case, just one, that they ended up becoming fairly close allies. So, yeah, Terrence and Alyssa, not exactly two players I would want to be compared to, but, Kenney, Leah, do your thing. So that was Saturday night. A lot of stuff has happened on the feed since then, but first, I did my Julie thing. But first, um, I do want to talk a little bit about the episode that aired on Sunday night. Lisa is just thinking she's really slick by saying she voted Matt out. Nobody believes her, and it's hilarious. Chelsea in particular has a whole diary room segment like, no, I'm not buying this for a second. And T-Core also suspects she's not like as passionately like, oh, Lisa definitely did this. T-Core's like, I have a feeling it's Lisa. We see Makensy and Leah. We saw a bit of this at the end of the live episode, but they're just sort of in the bathroom looking at the cameras, being like, Angela's got to get out of here. We're going to get her, yada, yada, yada. And it's like, wow, they're really going hard for this one guy they met 10 days before. And like in particular, I'm disappointed with Leah for being so misted by Matt. Like I I wasn't feeling her preseason, but when her old tweets started to resurface, I'm like, okay, this young lady might be bringing something to the table that I'll enjoy, but she hasn't yet. So that's been disappointing for me. Um, Then we get the HOH competition. It is called Animal Obsession. Ainsley has been studying human beings, and she has figured out that we all love animal videos. So they just play a lot of funny animal videos, and they're asked questions about them. It's a true or false competition, We've done true or false many, many times. Sometimes it's you just have to get the most right. Other times it's you get one wrong, you're out. This is the latter. You get one wrong, you are out of the competition. And it was interesting. Everybody got the first one right, but the second one, 8 of the 14 competitors got it wrong. I don't know how much of that was people throwing it and how much was people just actually not knowing. But I mean, Quinn said he wanted to throw and he was part of the 8, so yeah, probably. In the end, it comes down to Chelsea and Leah, which I knew about, and T-Core, which I did not know about. I did not know T-Core was one of the last people standing in this competition. And as we know, Chelsea wins. She beats them both. Like, either she said true and they both said false, or she said false and they both said true. I forget which one, but Chelsea wins. Chelsea initially wanted to throw this HOH, and in her diary room, she was saying, I guessed on a few of these answers. So, Chelsea probably did not mean to win this one too much. We also get a segment I personally have been waiting for to see on the episode, a segment of Lisa annoying Tucker. To just finally let the audience see just what Lisa is bringing to this house. And we also get a segment about the formation of the Pentagon, long before certain members started to side eye each other. But, it is a group that formed, and one of them is the HOH, so it does make sense that we found out about it eventually. And then, of course, we get the nominations. Lisa doesn't look as shocked this time, but she does look disappointed. Angela kind of jokingly acts shocked. And they don't even show Kenney volunteering for the block, nor do they show Cam and Cedric volunteering. So, it's, that's interesting. The editors, once again, are missing a lot of this season, which is unfortunate. Now, on to the live feeds since Saturday. They're still cutting a lot during discussions for a while. And we're still kind of in the post Angela stage, like re- regarding what went down, which we still don't fully know. But I talked about this in my last stream that it might have been possibly something similar to Kyle, where Angela was seeing the four African American house guests as a group when it's really only three of them that are like an established group, but even that group is starting to fall apart. Like there is absolutely not a Cookout 2.0 going on. Just like there wasn't a Cookout 2.0 going on when Kyle said it. Like Xavier said on Twitter, like just stop assuming there's going to be a Cookout 2.0. It'll help you both in the game and out. So that seemingly is what it is, but the feeds keep cutting away anytime anyone even talks about it. Like we get Chemo asking Angela, who at this point has just kind of outcasted herself. Chemo asks her if she's okay, and it cuts away as she says she was just pointing out a group. Um, Angela sees a lot of groups forming, whether they're real or not. So I just find it interesting that this is the group she decided to call out. And at this point in time, Angela is the house target. She has replaced Lisa as the house target. Really, all Angela had to do was lay low, and she really was going to be fine. Problem is, she played so chaotically the first week, she doesn't realize that she's fine. So, yeah. Um, so, I did mention the veto competition. Kenney won, and he's obviously going to take himself off, so Chelsea is trying to think of who to put up in his place. And Tucker volunteers, which is interesting because he literally hated Matt for volunteering him. He tried to play it off like, I got that dog in me, yo. I'm gonna go out there and win it. But he still didn't like that Matt volunteered him. But now here he is volunteering himself. So I guess Tucker is not opposed to volunteering. He's just opposed to being volunteered. And it's like, what's the difference? You're still going up on the block. So when I hear him say this, I'm just like, please, no, you're my first round draft pick. I don't want them getting clever and flipping it on you. So yeah, that was Tucker. That was his contribution to gameplay, just saying, I'll be the renom. Oh, sorry. I'll be the renom. So, Makensy and Tucker talk, and Tucker kind of leads the conversation in this direction, but he does get her to admit that she has a power. And they think Lisa has the other one, because that has been the theme. They think Lisa has a power, and they're They're using that to justify, I think, why they don't like her. And I'm like, you can justify not liking her by just saying she's all up in everybody's business. She's putting glitter in all the food. She's leaving glitter everywhere. She's leaving food everywhere. You know, you don't have to make her having a power your cover for why you don't like her. You can just not like her. And at this point, Angela has not ratted out Quinn, but stand by. So Mackenzie and Tucker still agree they do want Lisa to leave more than Angela. And Tucker basically said that he volunteered because he wants to compete against Lisa. Like, he wants to be in the AI arena against her. And, I don't know, I guess have a hand in keeping her on the block. Which, not for nothing, Lisa won the veto last week. Lisa has more competition wins than you do, Tucker. So I'm just throwing that out there. Um, Mackenzie tells Brooklyn that she wants to work with her, Chelsea, Rabina, and Leah. Now, I would say this group had potential if all female alliances weren't cursed on Big Brother, and even some of these people were together initially, like saying, could this be the year that the women run the show? But then immediately they're like, okay, but we're not going to bring all the women in. So it's like, you know, good luck to you, but just based on past experiences, I'm not really holding my breath for this one to be the one, especially when there's already been signs of fracking. Um, Leah and Cam, they continue to flirt. I talked about this before that they're starting to like. At least I think I talked about it before. I hope I did because it was kind of a big deal how they're getting increasingly flirtatious with each other, and it's starting to get them both in a little bit of trouble. So it's something they both have to be a little more mindful of. And like Cam was already warned that they look like they're too close. And Chelsea actually sees one of these rounds of flirting, and she goes around telling people they're worse than Matt and Mackenzie. And I mean, it's getting to be about even for sure. Tucker and Rabina, they have been really growing as a duo. I haven't really touched on it too much, but I have been aware of it. But now I feel like it is probably time to mention it. Rabina says that he should get close to Lisa. Tucker should get close to Lisa to find out what Lisa's power is. But Tucker says that he just can't stand how fake she is. So it's a good thought, Rabina, but Tucker is not going to do that. Speaking of groups that I've had my eye on, Quinn, T-Core, and Chemo lock themselves in as a final three, and Quinn tells them about the Pentagon. And part of me is like, he might be saying a little too much here, but then another part of me is like, you know, he knows he was brought into an existing group. Like, he was not there at the formation. And I've been saying this. This is the key to a successful alliance. You got to make everybody feel like they're in on the ground floor. Like, even if you have to fake it, like, do what you got to do. It's just, if you bring them in, they're gonna they're gonna be looking around for other things. And Quinn has been looking at and collecting a whole bunch of things ever since he got here. And he explains that he wasn't even initially told that Brooklyn was going to be the fifth member of the Pentagon. And this also leads T-Core to realize that the three C's are tighter with each other than they are with her, or at least they were. Again, those cracks are starting to form. Cam volunteering as a nominee started to make Chelsea trust him a little bit less. And as I just said, she's not loving his flirtatious re- relationship with Leah. And also, Quinn reveals the Andersons, which was the have-nots from week one. Him, Cam, Chemo, and Tucker. So yeah, Quinn is just dropping stuff left and right, and it's like you got to be loyal to something, buddy. Hopefully, it's this trio. But I said this before, he's got too many plates spinning, and I don't know how long he can keep it up before it all starts crashing down for him. Now, at this point, the tides are starting to shift off of Lisa and back to Angela for some people, possibly even enough people. T-Core says that she doesn't want Tucker and Cam to team up. And Quinn wants to take out Cam so that they can pull in Leah. And with Tucker most likely going up at this point, they have the chance to break them up now if they want to flip it on Tucker, which I don't want them to do. Again, first round draft pick. But it's from a gameplay perspective, it's something they could probably consider. But they agree Angela is at this point the consensus target of the house. So that's where things stand at this point, but there's more. We're not even at the veto meeting yet. The house guests confirm, this was on Sunday, I believe, they confirm that they can't really talk about Angela, or at least the situation Angela had. And they joke that production hates them for making them cut so much because they do want to talk about it. And honestly, shame on production for this. Whatever it is, we deserve to see it. Okay? Like, I feel like they're trying to make themselves not look bad, but they're making themselves look bad by trying to hide this. So, honesty would be the best policy. Transparency would be best here. So, I don't like that production is still keeping the fandom in the dark about this. And whatever we see tomorrow night on the episode, I am sure will not be an accurate retelling of what went down. Now, Angela is starting to rejoin people, whereas before she was just like hanging out by herself, looking sad. So she's rejoining people, but she's staying quiet. And like I said, don't think we're ever going to get the truth about what happened, at least not the full truth. So, yeah. Robina and Brooklyn talk about Mackenzie's power, and they know that Tucker knows. And they're wondering when Mackenzie is going to use it. Now, honestly, this seems like the kind of power that one could just let expire. So, I think there's a chance it doesn't get used at all. But if it does, I think Mackenzie's going to wait till the absolute last second to use it. So, that would be week 4. Chelsea says that she went off on Angela yesterday. That would have been fun to see for both information and entertainment purposes. And yeah, we truly missed the good stuff. And Chelsea wants Angela out now. Kenney talks about a conversation he had with Angela. He said, "Don't talk game. Game's over for you." So yeah, that that is definitely lending more credibility to the prevailing theory that it's another Kyle situation. Now, at this point, also, Chelsea seemingly has decided to accept Tucker volunteering as the renom. So, this may be a done deal at this point. I mean, I know whether or not it's been a done deal, and you probably know if you're watching this, but just in case, we're still going in order. Tucker and Lisa talk. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you this went about as well as you'd think it would. He says that he knows she voted to keep Matt, and that she has the power. She denies both, and obviously Matt is half right, and Lisa is half telling the truth. He doesn't believe her when she denies them, and he also doubts that she is a chef. And when I was doing stand up comedy and I wanted to be on Big Brother, I was like, okay, I'll go in there and say I'm a stand up comedian. I'm so worried that if I had actually done that and promoted myself as a stand up comedian, I am worried that, like, if I had gone in there and said that, I just wouldn't have been funny enough and no one would have believed me and they would have thought, like, oh, this guy's clearly working some kind of really, really smart job that he's not telling us about. Or just a job in general that you wouldn't reveal on Big Brother, like lawyer, cop, doctor, that kind of thing. So the fact that Lisa's food isn't good, and in fact is so bad they're doubting she's a chef, that is just kind of reinforcing my fears there that I wouldn't have been funny enough to convince people I was a comedian. Lisa thinks that Tikor is the one who has the power. And Tikor hears about this, and now Tikor wants Lisa out. So this is when the target is starting to shift back to Lisa. Angel and Lisa, they truly cannot help themselves. They are not doing well. Quinn, however, still wants Angela out because he's concerned that she'll out his power. And that is a very valid concern to have. She's proven herself to be unstable. Like, honestly, if I had a power like this, I wouldn't tell anybody. Not a single person. But I definitely wouldn't tell anyone on day 2 or 3 before you've gotten to know them and before you've confirmed whether or not they're absolutely cracked out of their minds. Okay, some people it takes a minute for you to notice. Well, like Angela, Quinn thought, she's fine. She'll be a good ally to have. And then she had the blow up with Matt and outed the alliance Quinn made with her, and now Quinn is probably deeply regretting telling her because he has to be concerned that at a moment's notice she can bury him. Like if she gets just one impulse, she can absolutely bury him. Chemo and Tikor want Angela to stay now. Tikor says that she can be the block star going forward for all the ruckus she's caused. And I guess that would be a fitting punishment. And Sunday, and really into Monday, but starting Sunday, this starts to turn into a dating show like Love Island or The Bachelor or something. I never got into dating shows. I tried the one that Bret Michaels did that was a ripoff of Flavor of Love. I think Bret Michaels was called like Rock of Love. And I watched it. I don't know why. I regretted it as soon as it was over. And yeah, I I haven't dipped my toe back in that pool. So hearing a lot of this romance talk on Big Brother nowadays, like with this whole thing going on, I haven't really been enjoying it very much. But here we go. Quinn likes Leah. Cam is in trouble for flirting with Leah. And Leah has a crush on Tucker. Tucker has flirted a lot with Rubina and T-Core, and Leah just isn't really his type. So yeah, that's just a quick summary for now. We'll get into some of it a little more as we go on, but that'll do for now. Um, Cedric talks to Quinn, and Cedric also not as close with Cam as he used to be. You know, he's definitely closer with Chelsea, but Cedric is seemingly expanding his horizons more within the Pentagon, and he's looking at Quinn now. So Cedric suggests to Quinn that they be a duo kind of like the Hitmen. And this is where all those BB16 is shown to recruits in sequester accusations come into play. Like, Cedric is definitely a recruit. Like, he just is, clearly. I know that. Like, let's not kid ourselves. Like, I haven't looked it up, but I'm confident. He doesn't know the game super well. And yet somehow he knows about BB16 and the Hitmen. And every recruit seems to know about the Hitmen. And I'm just like, there's got to be someone who's reaching out to these recruits, telling them to bone up on Big Brother before they come on the show. And they all seem to find BB16. And I just find that to be very interesting. Like, why not BB17? Hmm? The very next season. It was very interesting. It had a great cast. And there wasn't just two guys dominating the whole thing and making it boring to watch. There was one woman who was dominating a lot, but you felt like at a moment's notice she could lose her grip on the house. And in the end, she did come up short. I'm, I'm of course talking about Vanessa. So yeah, I find it interesting that Cedric is not a big fan of Big Brother and yet somehow knows about the Hitmen, like all recruits do, somehow. So yeah, he proposes this to Quinn, and Quinn has been wary of Cedric for a while. Like, Quinn just doesn't seem to trust the Pentagon in any meaningful way. Like, he's okay with Brooklyn, and he seems okay with Chelsea, but Cam and Cedric, he has just had his eye on for a while now. So I do think the likelihood of these two becoming the Hitmen, I think the odds of that are pretty low. It's a stretch to me that it would be these two. Um, so we get to Monday, we get to the renoms. Tucker is talking about alternatives to putting him up. He suggests nominating Makensy just to flush the power, but I don't think he fully knows. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think he fully knows how it works. I don't think he knows that the power would be out of um, Chelsea's hands, and it could very well end up being him. Like, I don't know how America's gonna vote. Like, they'd vote for Angela. I don't know who second on that list would be. So this wouldn't really work, but I don't think Tucker realizes just how it wouldn't work. So obviously Chelsea is hesitant. because of the way it works. And from here, Chelsea weighs her options on what to do about the renom. If she puts up Tucker, Lisa could expose her power. If she puts up Tucker, Lisa doesn't expose her power, then Lisa leaves. She puts up Makensy. Makensy reveals her power, but then Makensy and Leah are gunning for her, and Lisa still has her power. Again, there's no doubt in their minds that Lisa has this power. Not a doubt in their minds. Also, by not putting up Makensy, potentially Makensy could use her power to save her going forward. I don't think that would happen though, because I saw someone making the point of like they want to see Makensy win the next HOH, and then she just ditches Chelsea, and Chelsea realizes that her and Leah have just been using her this week because she was HOH. And admittedly, that would be an interesting development. So Chelsea goes, talks things over with Brooklyn, and she's like, "What do I do?" And as they're talking, she's called to the diary room to officially make her decision. And she's like, "I'm just gonna do Tucker." And then the feeds go down not long after that. It comes back, and Tucker is the replacement nominee after Kenney uses the veto on himself. So we get a Quinn camera talk. He secretly would prefer if Angela left, but at the same time, Lisa said T-Core's name, so he's not gonna push. He's still unsure about the Pentagon, but he says Brooklyn and Cam are the best players in the house right now. And also, he's pretty disappointed that his duo with Leah has already flopped. Like, he was really trying to lock something in with her, and she just has seemingly moved on to Cam, which, as I've said, everybody in the house has noticed by now. And he has. And I don't know how much of it is that he's disappointed he doesn't have a game relationship with her, or how disappointed he is that he doesn't have her. And it better be the former because she did say she just wanted to keep things, strictly game between the two of them. So, you know, hopefully he's not just pining after she said no. I can tell you from experience when they say no, it's in your best interest to at least try to move on. Um, Makensy proposes to T-Core that the women minus Lisa and Angela work together because they could run the game together. And it's interesting. This before it was Angela, Lisa, and T-Core that were being excluded from the women's alliance, but now Makensy wants to bring T-Core in. And on the one hand, it's like, okay, good. T-Core is a pretty intelligent player so far, and you should want to work with her. And I just didn't understand why she was getting left out. But again, it's like, will this alliance even work? Because as we know, female alliances in the Big Brother house, they don't work. They're famous for not working. But Makensy says that they should work together because they can run the house if they do it right. Makensy also says Lisa has to go this week and then Angela has to go next. Which, I did admit was a pretty strong possibility. Like, I made a tweet saying something like Angela and Lisa. No, here's what it was. It's impressive that The first two main competitions this season were won by women, Angela and Lisa. But let's not kid ourselves. They're probably going to be the next two to go. And they're making it worse for themselves every single day. Tucker tells Leah that he's nervous about potentially ending up next to Angela on eviction night. Like he's talking about the Lisa wins the AI arena scenario here. He's worried that if he's next to Angela, they might snipe him. And I'm just thinking, you probably should have thought of that before you volunteered. You know, we've seen that these are equitable competitions this season. More women have won competitions than men at this point. So, you know, and Lisa has already won a competition, a veto. So, Tucker, you really should have thought about this a little more before you volunteered. So it's pretty obvious to me that Tucker is regretting his decision, but he isn't really saying it outright. But Leah assures him, like, no, you're staying no matter what. Like if it's you versus one of them, you're gonna stay. And I do think that's the case. So, like, I don't think Tucker is in too much danger of leaving, but he's in more danger of leaving than he needed to be because he didn't need to volunteer. So Angela talks to a lot of people about how I know I'm the target. I know I'm leaving. You're not the target right now. She tells Kenney that she's going to whisper something powerful in his ear on her way out the door. And my first thought was R.I.P. Quinn. Quinn Quinn's power is like dangling off a cliff right now, and it's about to fall right into the hands of the whole house. So we get more Leah flirtmance talk. She tells Chelsea that Tucker said he didn't want to showmance with her. And she also says that Cam told her he had a naughty dream about her, but he thinks a showmance would screw up their games. She also tells this to Brooklyn. First of all, I'm like, Leah, you gotta let this go. Okay? You gotta get your head back in the game. And also, if you are not a romantic partner with someone, don't tell them you're having naughty dreams about them. Okay? It's not a good look. It's honestly kind of creepy. And I hate that Cam is kind of getting away with it because he's big and muscular and handsome. Like that's really kind of creepy. But yeah, I'm just really over it. It's like, come on, Leah. There are other things to talk about in the Big Brother house. Like she's like a teenager obsessing over boys. It's like, come on, you're 26. You have a 26 tattoo. You're on BB26. It's your lucky number. You won't shut up about it. So act 26. Like you're an adult. Stop acting like a teenager. Kenney tells Angela that his strategy, if you can call it that, is that he's going to volunteer for the block every week. That's his strategy. That's embarrassing, honestly. I don't care that he won the veto. Kenny's an embarrassing player. You should be doing everything you can to keep yourself off the block, okay? Like, take Brittany and BB23. She ended up on the block several times, and she was not thrilled about it any of those times. She was a fighter, though. She was not happy about being nominated, and she was just more determined to play afterwards. And here's Kenney. Even like, I admit, I I was one of the people who thought that Kenney would actually be trying a little harder now that he's actually won something, and he's probably having a gonna have a semi decent time now. But no, he still just wants to voluntarily be the block star. And I'm like, this is stupid, bro. This is a really pathetic way to go through this game. And it's Boston week. There, I said it. So, now Angela starts to get really messy with Quinn's power. She describes his power, but she doesn't name him directly at first. She describes it to a bunch of people. And the way I see it, she's kind of screwing around with this and making it less believable, the fact that she's not really naming names here. And also, Chemo is in this group of people, and Chemo is the only other person who knows that Angela has this power. So now Chemo can bury Angela right back to Quinn. Quinn can be like, oh, well, my power is out now, so I might as well use it to get you out next week, because Quinn's gonna be here for sure next week, and Angela might be. She later talks to Tucker and confirms to him Quinn is the one who has the power. And Tucker doesn't believe her. This is how far Angela has sunk in this house. No one believes a word out of her mouth. Just like they don't believe a word out of Lisa's mouth. So he doesn't believe her, and she takes this to mean he knows that Quinn has it, and they're working together, and he's lying to me right now because that's Angela for you. She always assumes the worst. Like she's just everybody's lying to me at all times. I'm the only honest person. Like everybody's lying. Everything has to be a lie in the Big Brother house. No, nothing true has ever been said in the Big Brother house. And it's like, actually, yeah, occasionally there's been some truth told. And Tucker is just not really caring too much about what she's saying because he's still, as usual, hyper focused on getting Lisa out. This man has a one-track mind. He wants Lisa out and he won't hear of anything else. And it's pretty funny, actually. Rabina talks to T-Core and reassures her that I'm more with you than I'm with Makensy and Leah. So, right away, again, this female alliance is not super locked in. But the fact that the fact that T-Core has so many people trusting her, including Rabina, that tells me that T-Core is playing the game Makensy and Leah think they're playing. So, yeah, T-Core does have the social connections that I think can get her pretty far in this game. Makensy, she's just sort of protected for now because of her power, but, you know, I think there's a chance that she's just the first one to go after she either uses it or it expires. Rabina says that she trusts T-Core, Chemo, Brooklyn, and Quinn, and they think they could reel in Tucker and even Kenney as numbers because they think they're kind of outsiders. And, they kind of put the feelers out, not to Tucker and Kenney yet, but, uh, like, I think it was Chemo and Brooklyn who joined the conversation. And they agree they're gunning for the next HOH. They're not throwing it. And I'm like, thank you. And I get it. The second HOH has never gone on to win the game, but the third HOH is typically the one you want to win because they typically do really well. Like Xavier won in BB23, Turner won in BB24, and that's when the leftovers formed, and they ran the show from then on, pretty much. And last year, Felicia, she won the third HOH, came in fourth. She didn't even really have technically as good a game as Xavier and Turner did, but she still was able to hang in there because of I think just like the second HOH is a curse, the third HOH is a blessing. Like it'll keep you in the game for a while. So yeah, definitely no one should be wanting to throw this one. Kenney actually talks game, and he actually has some interesting reads for once. He thinks Brooklyn is running the game and that there's a women's alliance. I mean, that alliance is trying to form, but it isn't solid. And Brooklyn, I wouldn't really say she's running the game, but she's playing a really good game. She's one of the most well positioned in the house. Like, Brooklyn is playing the kind of game Quinn would be playing if he had just kept his mouth shut about his power. Makensy, Leah, and Chelsea talk. Makensy does not trust Joseph, Quinn, or Chemo. Leah tries to get some of the heat off of Quinn, so Leah is actually on Quinn's side a little bit here, so she hasn't forgotten their connection entirely right now. So yeah, she's trying to defend him a little, get some of the heat off him. Chelsea says that she thinks it's Quinn, Chemo, and T-Core. It is. But Mackenzie has her mind set on Joseph, sorry. I write Joe in my notes to abbreviate. And worth mentioning that Matt tried to blame Joseph for outing their group to Angela last week, so I think that might be why Mackenzie is fixated on him. So, yeah, I don't. Joseph is really just kind of been laying low ever since Angela blew up the alliance in her calling out of Matt. Like, Joseph's been really kind of laying low since then. So, yeah, he hasn't really moved his way back up, and that could make him probably a rather easy target for anybody. Like, I don't think anyone other than Mackenzie's going for him. Like, I don't even think Leah would go for him. But if Mackenzie were to win HOH next week, and she was like, "I want to get Joseph out," everyone would be like, okay." I don't think he'd be a great loss to anybody. So that's all my notes. Um, Lisa at the moment seems to be the target again, but we I'll check my phone, I'll check Twitter, see what's happened since I've been streaming, see if that's shifted at all. And also, we got to remember it's still the AI arena left to play, so we shall see. When Chemo won the AI arena last week, everybody was happy. Like, it was unanimous. Like, even Mackenzie, who had a vested interest in Matt winning that competition, she looked happy for Chemo. If Lisa wins it this week, there will be crickets. There won't be a word. It'll be like when Cameron won his second HOH last season in front of everybody, and it was just dead silence. Everyone was like, "Oh God, here we go again." So yeah, that would be what happens if Lisa wins the AI arena. Because here's how I would describe Lisa at this point. Lisa has main character energy, except she's the main character in a story no one wants to see, read, or play. Yeah. So, and that is why the target has shifted back to Lisa, despite this messy situation with Angela that we're still probably not going to hear about ever. Okay, now it's time to hold on. Time to read some updates. See if the target's shifted back because I mean it's already gone back and forth. So what's one more, right? Okay, I'm seeing something interesting. Tucker and Rubina's ideal six-person alliance. It's Rubina, Tucker, T-Core, Quinn, Chemo, and Joseph. Not gonna lie, that would be an interesting group. I could see myself rooting for it, even despite the fact that Quinn has me blocked on Twitter. But I'm totally not salty about that. But yeah, I think that alliance, if it comes together, watch out. All right, nothing else on my main timeline, so I'm gonna check BB updates, see if they're in an updating mood right now. Sometimes they're not, but that's okay. We still love them. Nope, nothing in 16 hours. All right, let's try reality barbecue. Apparently, they cut away from another discussion about what Angela said. Okay. Angela believes that Chelsea and Tucker are leading a group and plans to win HOH to nominate them along with Rubina. If they manage to save themselves, Angela intends to nominate Quinn in their place. This is from BB Lion. I mean, first of all, we're assuming Angela's going to win another competition. I mean, she could. Again, there have been equitable comps so far, but, that means it's equitable for everyone. So it's just a matter of if Angela gets lucky again. Quinn does not trust Angela at this point. And I think there's a possibility Quinn would just reveal himself as having that power and just be like, "Hi, so I'm actually going to be taking over as HOH from here," and just activate his power and become the new HOH. I actually think he can't nominate the official HOH in that instance, but he can definitely usurp her. Oh, Brooklyn and Chelsea are talking about Cam. Brooklyn's worried about him. Chelsea thinks he's an idiot. And they're worried he'll reveal the Pentagon to Leah. I mean, Quinn already revealed it to T-Core and Chemo, so it's out there. Alright, now I'll try Hamster Watch. God. Angela's walking around mocking the way Lisa walks. Honestly, Angela is a complete Karen. Okay, let's stop kidding ourselves. It was kind of entertaining for a while, but she is rude and immature and self-centered. She's a Karen. Alright, about all I got. Alright, I'm gonna call it here. Uh, Unfortunately, nobody watched this on Twitch, so if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at NickRhymesYT. I have links to my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel there. And you can get my thoughts on Big Brother stuff as it's happening. And after much consideration, I want Lisa to win the AI arena and Angela to go home. You know, Lisa's also kind of on my last nerve at this point, but Angela's a Karen. And I've just I feel like Angela's given all she can give at this point, and we just have to let her go. So yeah, that will do it for this stream. I'll see you next time. Peace out.